What up? Welcome to A to the show. It is me, A to the Mo, joined today by it's your boy H2.
What up? What up? What up?
I'm gonna probably just call him H2 for the remainder of this. I don't think I'll say the full name.
H2, H, any of that works.
Hell yeah. For a long time listeners, you'll know, maybe you remember the story, but it has actually been a while. You got your name, if I remember correctly. You did a beat that was the Halloween H2O movie. Somehow it was tied to that movie, was on the title of a beat, and then people just thought that was your name. Something like that.
It was really weird how that happened. Like I said, I got that beat and it had that score to it, you know, the main score to Halloween. And it had it in the beat, and I just did a song that was very Eminem-ish, you know. It was just kind of like a run bitch, I'm gonna kill you type song or whatever, but I named it H2. And it's funny because I never like did it live for anybody or anything like that. But then like the same summer I got that beat, we were rapping all through the summer in town doing freestyles and stuff. And somebody they started calling me H2. And I don't know how it actually happened that way, but it did, and I just stuck with me. So
right. Well, hey, any name that's original, I say, you know, so many people like I just got this week, someone recommended to me on TikTok, and their name of them is Mo Beats, just MO Beats. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, like maybe that's a strategy in some way because it's so generic, but also like, I don't know. There's a reason I'm not just Mo. I had to add more to it because there was like 1,000 Mo's already.
Right. And that was the same thing with me. It was like when I came out with H2, like, nobody else had that, and then it was like other H2s started popping up. And then this is a funny story. Somebody had said that they had, what was it, Project Pat's number or something, and so then they gave me his email, and I sent songs to him. And then like a few months later, after I sent those songs to him, he started working with an artist out of Memphis named H2.
So maybe he thought that was you. He was like,
well, this is a totally different dude, but like, I was like, what are the odds? Like,
right.
But back then I didn't really know irony, so.
Yeah. Well, that is, you know, so close. But you also have, I in college rapped with a guy named CJ Jones, and then fucking in this internet friends era, rapped with a guy named CJ Jones, completely different. And then the old CJ Jones hit me up. He's like, I like the name of that new guy you put a song out with. I'm like, oh, yeah. And they both like spelled it the same too, which was crazy. Yeah. Like, and so I was like, and I know people were like, what's so crazy? But that was like with a Z and like 2 E's and shit. Like it was kind of it was wild. But anyway, H2's got a project that just came out. Go listen to it. We'll play a song from it at the end of this episode. So
Bones.
Stick around. Yeah. But at first I thought it said No Bones, like when I just saw the artwork, and then I saw you write it, and I was like, oh, I guess that wasn't him, you know. And I don't know why I just thought it was No Bones, which I thought was weird because there was a skeleton on it, and I was like, there's clearly bones. So it actually made sense, made more sense with No Bones. But
it's a puzzle of bones, if I'm being more specific.
Right. All right, let's touch on some current event shit before I forget. I have so many things that I haven't talked about in the last few weeks that I'm like, I just eventually got to get to some of them. But something that's brand new as of like today when we're recording, people are talking about it, is this hantavirus. Have you heard of this?
I saw a post about it on Facebook, but I did not get to read into it.
People are basically just acting like it's the next coronavirus, you know, next COVID. But I think just what's, I'm not like so smart that I just knew this. I mean, I've seen people just post about it today, so I'm just relaying information. But, you know, the reason COVID was so contagious or lasted so long was because the death rate was so incredibly low. You know, it was like less than 1%. And whenever a virus isn't deadly, it's easier to spread because then more people have it and are able to spread it. Whereas if a virus is super deadly, then people die before they have a chance to spread it. More or less is the premise. So the hantavirus has a 40% death rate, and it's been around since the 70s, so it's not brand new out of a lab. I mean, this one could be, who knows, this strain, but in general, the hantavirus has been around since the 70s. About 1,000 people have rather gotten or died from it. I can't remember which one, but it's like at a rate of about 36 to 40%, something like that from what I read. And so I'm like, if you get it, I guess you should be worried, but I don't think we should be worried there's a global pandemic unless like, you know, they're planning it, the plandemic, if you will, and then they just want us back in our houses and shit. But I don't. I don't know why they would want that necessarily, but there's conspiracy theorists, and I like all the conspiracy theories, but they always have reasons for why the government would want you in your house and all that shit.
Well, I mean, it was like in 2021 they were doing they were having all the different variants.
Yeah.
And all those were popping up, and it was just kind of leveling up. Oh, funny thing though, you were talking about the death rate and all that, or I don't know if not the death rate, but I know the COVID rate. Like at one point, the highest COVID rate was in Tennessee. It was kind of crazy to me because I was like, Tennessee of all places, which I mean, we're not really in the news usually much for.
Well, honestly, all that probably says is they were reporting honestly, because I think it came out afterwards. A lot of states were just lying. Like, New York famously, they just put all their old people in nursing homes and let them die and then just didn't count them. And you're like, well, that's crazy. But
they were so many little video clips of that stuff. It was weird.
Yeah, it was a weird time. I mean, it's going to be like 9/11 where that thing where like when someone brings up, you're like, fuck, I remember it, and you all have your own like little stories or whatever. But I have to mention every time I think about it, like that 2 weeks to flatten the curve was some of the best moments of my life. Like everyone got off work. I watched Tiger King. It had just come out. I fucking obsessed over Tiger King, and then I played fucking video games. It was like, we get 2 weeks off work to fucking flatten the curve, bro. And then it turned into like months or whatever. And you're like, oh shit, this is crazy.
I actually worked through that time.
Right.
Like even then, like we were still coming in. We were working from like, I think it was like 7:30 to 12. But like I was one of the essentials. Like there was only like 5 or 6 people at my job doing it, but I was one of the ones that had to come in and do that. But we usually get out by lunch, so it really wasn't a big deal.
Right. Yeah, I think I was off for a month, and then I got back to work, but it was like, since it was at a school and they were distance learning, the number of stuff I had to do on a computer, it was like, there was no one here to break it. So it was like real chill. Right. So it was very cool. I was like, this is awesome. But I understand it was like globally bad, people's grandparents died and all that. But in the moment, it was like, man, this isn't the worst thing. No? Also, speaking of stuff from 4 or 5 years ago, the Epstein suicide note was just found, which is crazy. It take this long. I could barely read it. I'll find a picture. I'll try to put it up. I couldn't really read what it said, but I saw like people quoting parts of it, and it's like, and they're like, he would never say this, or this sounds just like him, one or the other. And it's like, well, we have like thousands of his emails. Yeah, they could put it in like an AI program and be like, is this something he would say? You know what I mean? Like, is this his writing? Whatever. It's like when Donald Trump, he had that letter to Epstein that came out, and then Donald Trump claimed it wasn't his, but you read it and you go, it reads just like he wrote it. You know, like you can just hear it in his voice or whatever. And so I just think we'll never get the full answers, but I'm glad, some people are trying out there to keep it up.
It's funny that that's going on around the same time that all this talk about Kurt Cobain's going on too, because, they say that they don't believe his suicide note was written by him either.
Right. I didn't see any new stuff about it, but when I was in 7th or 8th grade, a girl in my class did a presentation on why Courtney Love killed Kurt Cobain. Like that was her theory or whatever. And I'm sure it's, very popular. So I've known of it since then, but I've never really deep dove it enough to like have a solid opinion one way or the other, Yeah.
I for the longest, I really thought Courtney Love was like the main one behind it. But then as I've been researching and kind of going over,
it's Dave Grohl. That's who's behind. Oh, really? Yeah. He's gotten so famous. Who's risen more from this?
And I mean, this isn't like the main reason or whatever. Right. I just thought of this the other day. I was like, it's kind of funny that Foo Fighters' first album has a handgun on the cover.
Right.
I mean,
if there was a shotgun, they were 2 on point. You see,
the rifle being.
Oh, is that what it was? I thought it was a shotgun, but
it's the rifle on the hidden hand cover. That's like all that is part of the hidden hand cover that I've got on there. That's why the rifle's on there. But I do a lot of alluding to stuff like that, because like Converse King, that's kind of like it has a Kurt Cobain angle to it. So a lot of the songs I do with you seem to be going that direction, and then you're on the show like, oh, anything with a guitar he kills. It's kind of it's like, imagine that.
Yeah, I mean that is my go-to. I mean, when I just hear about beats in general, I'm just like, I could imagine so and so on. And I've mentioned this many times before, but you and Sir Nasty, I'm probably the best with like whatever I'm imagining you do, it basically is what happens. Like once you said the song back, I'm like, oh yeah, I knew they would. Not that I like would pick your flow, but it's just like in my imagination, I'm like, oh, I knew that's how they would do that, and it always works out.
Like when you send the tracks with the guitar and all that stuff, like those always hit for me, you know, like because Converse King, I don't know if we ever talked about those songs, but like Converse King and Trojan Horse, those were both new choruses with old verses.
Gotcha.
So like, well, Converse King was like a really old verse first, and then I had to write a second one because the second verse originally was not good enough for that. So it's a lot of switching, you know, going around, like, and that kind of goes in with the Mo Bones project. Is there's so much time jumping going on,
right?
You know.
Yeah, I noticed because I didn't listen to all the songs, but I clicked through a few of them when you sent it yesterday to me, and some of them you put out before. But some of them are new. I was really looking for there's one beat I've sent you, and I've already told you, like, I'm excited to hear what you do with it, where it samples Little House on the Prairie, because my wife went on a Little House on the Prairie kick for last summer, and then I sampled it, and I'm like, oh man, I can't wait it's just so stupid, but I'm like, I bet it'll be fun. You know?
I didn't know what the sample was, but now that you've said that definitely helps me, because I was going to use it as a remix to something, but now, not a remix, but, you know, I was going to put old verses on it, but now I'm like, no, I'll probably do something fresh. Because, I mean, I still got about 11, 12 of your beats that I haven't even touched yet, and I don't know that I'm going to, and I've got about 11 more that I got to send to you, tracks or whatever. So
let's see what my count is. Let me go through my notes, see what I think you have of mine. Just for my own sake, let's see. Unused H2. I have listed 35 beats that I've sent you that you have not made a song with yet. So I can double check them all with you, and I could have missed some at any time. I know you put out a lot of albums or whatever. I could have not, but I'm always curious when I go through it. Like when Sir Nasty got back under 100, I was like, all right, we're making some good progress. You know, I seen way too many.
Well, you know, because we were doing so much stuff, like when I was doing which Mo Bones has some of the Fashionably Late songs on there too, which was an EP that I dropped, what was it, 24, I think, late 24. It was just an EP that I dropped, and I didn't really get to, I think it only has 6 to 8 songs on it. But that time was, you know, a lot of your beats were in the sessions and stuff, so some of that stuff is a little mixed up.
Right.
But I'm sure we went through a definitive list, we'd know.
Yeah. Well, I have many plans. You know, I mentioned on last week's episode a little bit, hinting at like, I have been like, maybe I should just stop the podcast, which I know some people are like, no, it's crazy. I love it. But, you know, it just, you go with the ebb and flows of creative stuff and all that. And you're like, man, I don't know. But there's also always other ideas. You want to try stuff or whatever. But one of the random ideas would be, I could go through all my, like every beat I've ever made. I could just start at the first one, at least I saw the project for, and try to do some sort of series based on it. And since y'all have made so many songs, a lot of them would end with, and it became this song, you know, or whatever. So I could see something kind of there, like I'm making the beat and how it ends. But
that's funny that you say that. Like, that's what I want to do with like my bodies of work. Like, I want to start doing videos, like a series of videos based on all the bodies of work that I've done.
Right. Well, what sucks is just that, like, and I mean, I know it's doing a podcast. You want people to just care because it's cool, but most people don't unless there's like a hook or a gimmick or something, you know? And so then you got to like find like the angle, and then you're like, well, at that point, is this what the art to stick? You know, I don't know. It's just all, you get so hung up, or at least I get so hung up on just the minutia, if you will, of all that.
But I mean, you're really holding it down though. Like even on the solo episodes, you know, you're holding it down. You're covering your categories and everything, like all the different contents that you want to express to the audience. So like, hats off to you for that, because I mean, not everybody can do as many episodes as you've done. And some of them you had guests, some of them you didn't.
Right.
You know,
I mean, there's part of me, like I've said this last week, you know, I like to just do all this stuff for fun in general, but there is also a part when you're doing it, you're like, yeah, but it'd be cool if like people cared. I don't, and I know some do. Like, I appreciate everyone that listens. I still just think anytime any of my numbers go up on the podcast or music, it's just Graveyard. Like, Graveyard convinced 12 people to listen that week or whatever, like, I don't know if this is true, but like, that's my self-deprecating nature that I'm all like,
I share it a lot. I share this and like I share the profiles, like the artist profiles and stuff for Spotify. I share those as well. And like groups on Facebook. So
hell yeah.
I definitely go in there and share a lot.
I don't share on Facebook at all because I just don't share my creative process with like my family and stuff. And so that probably limits me. I'm sure if I was like pushing stuff on Facebook, maybe people I went to school with or something would be like out of curiosity, be like, wonder how shitty this is. And I'm like, click it or whatever. But I just kind of avoid all that because I don't know. And I think also that me like want to take a break or quit, which I don't think I'm going to. I'm not going to now, but I have been thinking about it a lot. I think it just ties into like depression. You release an album and then all of a sudden you get depressed. That's how the creative process goes for me. And, it just all plays into it. And so it's like,
I can get that.
Ebbs and flows.
The album's really nice, by the way.
Yeah, thanks, man.
The album, it was a real good vibe. Like when I listened to it, which I mean, we've talked about music before and we talked about what we listened to and all that. And I don't listen to a lot of rappers, but besides stuff that I grew up on, because that's just like the stuff that just keeps me motivated, I guess, is stuff that
I guess I'm rare a little bit in that I am still hunting for new music. Not actively, I'm not like every day like what are the new artists, but like when I do listen to Spotify or whatever, every once in a while I'll go to my liked songs and like listen to some throwbacks. I'm just feeling that. But in general, I'm like, I want to listen to shit I've never heard. And I want to still like find some guy that I'm like, who the fuck is this? And then I go and like find, and like, I don't think that exists much these days, but that's how we grew up. Early when I grew up, that's how I was. I was on Napster or whatever. Like I wanted all of the rappers. I wanted to figure out who they all were or whatever.
I mean, I was the same way. One that like when I discovered them, like two different artists, when I discovered them, B.O.B. and Papoose, like when I discovered those two, like I was just all in. Like I'm downloading every B.O.B. mixtape. And at that time, I think he had 2 or 3 mixtapes out.
Yeah,
this was before his album even came out. And like I was listening to all his music, and then of course that all branched off, and then we had XXL magazine, so we were always learning about the freshmen.
Yeah.
So
dude, I would go to, I know that was before, but when I was in college, so this would be like 2007 through 2011 ish time period. I would wake up in my apartment, and almost the first thing I would do in the morning, I'd go to Lil Wayne HQ. With the website, and I'd see like all the news stories about Lil Wayne because I was a big fan. And then after that, I'd go to XXL because they had like, here's all the new songs. They used to have like these players, and then I would write those down and then go download them from somewhere, like that. And then eventually mixtapetorrents.com got added to my rotation because they would have stuff that before Dat Piff would. And then I'd go to like my daily routine was like go to all these hip hop websites and try to tap in and figure out what was going. It is like hip hop has fallen off just compared to that,
And like we just don't have the kind of resources. Like we don't have those like singular resources now. It's like there's just stuff just spread everywhere, and you don't even really know where to look, and it's all hitting you in the face at the same time. Like,
speaking of hitting in the face. I was like, speaking of hitting in the face, I just saw the other day that said that monoculture has basically died in every realm, which is kind of what we're talking about. Like, it used to be like everyone did one thing, and now everything's so spread out. But the only place that still exists now is in hardcore pornography, because the women that'll do the most hardcore shit are still such a small group that like everyone that's into that, they know those actresses. You know what I mean? It's not, there's not like 1,000 of them. There's like a few dozen that'll do the craziest shit or whatever. So anyway, that's all we got left of the monoculture.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Like, I don't know a lot of porn actresses. I know Tara Patrick, Jenna Jameson.
No, those are old school. Those are
old school ones. Like, I don't know any. I couldn't name off any new porn actresses. But.
Yeah, I wish I couldn't. But
Well, there was that one. I think there was one that I saw something where she had a record for sex with most men.
Oh yeah, there's. Bonnie Blue, and there's 2 European bitches that be fucking lots of guys. What I've say, because I said when Brad called in years ago when we were talking about porn stars, is that like basically if you look up like the top 100, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not a fan of any of those. Like mine would be like just a weird random person. I'm like, I think they're attractive. The other people are like, I don't think so. You know, I'm like, I just have weird taste, I guess. I don't know. So anyone that's like, here's the most popular porn stars, I'm always like, I'm good. You know, I don't need to see this lady with like a 14-inch penis that makes me feel inadequate. You know, that's not what I'm here for. I would rather find like an amateur MILF looking person who's fucking her small dicked husband, but having a good time. And then me being like, but if I was there, it would be even a better time. Because look how small this dude's dick is, you know, like that's more of my psychology when I go into it, I guess. And that's not most people. Most people are kind of the gay route where they want a bigger dick in their porn.
Well, you know, everybody has their own angles and fetishes. So that's kind of, but, where were we at? What were we
we're going to play a song.
About?
That's what we're going to do. It's that time. First song we're going with here, I got to go to my list because I totally am not. Here we go. Is by, of course, Sir Nasty off of his new album, Life of a Legend 2. Go give it a listen. He's also putting out like EPs and throwback albums, and Graveyard's doing the most on all that shit. But somewhere in there is Life of a Legend 2, which is the newest recorded stuff. And the name we're going with or the song is called Downtown. So let's give it a listen.
Ladies and gangsters, put your hands together for Sir Nasty, a.k.a. Jason Voorhees, Black Mass, nigga.
I'm one of them cats you ain't never seen. They know it's royalty when I pull up on the scene. All black Cadillac with a gangster lean. When I tell you I'm a gangster, that's what I mean. Sitting at the bar with this little pretty thing. She can't help but see the diamonds in my pinky ring. Eyes hella red cause I stay high. She said I can't lie, you had me at high. She said I can't lie, but your shit fire. I'm quick to cut them off when a bitch lie. I tell a bitch bye and let a bitch cry. I French kiss a bitch with a French fry. I told her it was over and she sent why. I said cause I'm a starter, not a bench guy. I put that on my soul, nigga. I don't love these hoes, I'm a cold nigga.
Y'all heard what my nephew said. This a cold nigga right here. And I like his style. You dig? Check this out, Cat Daddy. These women in here fucking with you. Give me a little more of what you just gave me. Kick ass.
I'm one of them cats you ain't never met. If a bitch out of my league, I ain't met her yet. Bitch, I'm not Keith and I don't never sweat. I kiss her on the cheeks, she forever wet. Nasty. I know some hoes I wish I never met. How they feel about me, I don't never check. Speaking of a check, I'm forever set. Rest in peace, Decatur is forever set. I watched the whole world turn into robots. Who them bitches over there? Yeah, them hoes thoughts. Yeah, I called you a cunt hoe. And you can smell the kush from the blunt smoke. I'm winking at these bitches in the front row. Before the night end, they at the front door. Nasty get it in, home front hoe. I got some deer rifles on hunt though.
Woo! Ladies and gangsters, I thank you on behalf of my nephew for being a wonderful audience tonight. Like I said, this is Sir Nasty, a.k.a. Jason Voorhees, Black Mass, nigga. Black Mass, bitches. Hell yeah, shit yeah. Talk your shit, nephew.
Hey, Playboy. Touch that lady right there. Tell her I said come here. We gonna be taking pictures and signing merchandise. I appreciate y'all. One love.
Sir Nasty with
Graveyard
Downtown. And a little, if you want some like behind the scenes action on that beat, I'm going to guess it was episode 35, but I know it's one of the 5th episodes. Skinny's on it. One episode Skinny's on. He's on every 5 episodes. I am showing TikTok videos, and I showed Skinny that TikTok of these old ladies swooning over this guy playing a saxophone. And then I turned that into that beat. And then after that episode, I sent the beat over to Graveyard, and then Sir Nasty made that. So you can hear the beat before it became a song.
Yeah, that beat was really smooth, but the whole track really was like just really smooth. Like it had that Idlewild feel to it.
Right.
Like, you know, like that old timey club, or maybe the better reference would kind of be like Sinners.
Yeah, modern.
That would probably
modern,
be more up to date reference.
Well, I would say it's probably like a 1920s juke joint, maybe more than a
That's
whatever.
what I was thinking. Idlewild, and Outkast, and he's from Georgia.
you could see that.
Right? So yeah.
Right, and I've said since the first time we played SoCo, which isn't so nasty, obviously, but they're buddies. I thought Southern Comfort reminded me of Andre 3000 the first time I heard him, and then I do remember also being like, because they said this stuff of like, we really promote Sir Nasty, but Southern Comfort's this other guy we got, because I'm sure SoCo was writing it, but not knowing he was writing it. And he was like, it's just some guy, and I was like, I'll fucking play it. I don't give a shit, And so it's funny how that all worked out. But yeah, shout out Sir Nasty, always doing cool shit on the beats. And
yeah,
more to come in, I think November might be the next Friday the 13th. He's always putting albums out Friday the 13th, in case you don't know.
They always cover that date every time.
Yeah, so I mean, you could as well. It's just, but yeah, there is a part of like, well, you don't want to step on it if they're also going to play your shit or whatever.
I mean, him pushing the Voorhees aesthetic like that, it all falls into it. So
right.
I totally get it.
Yeah, see, I have so little love for horror stuff, which is crazy because I like almost everyone I know. I mean, my wife doesn't either, but like most people I know really are into horror stuff and they like really are invested. And I just, for some reason, it just isn't for me. I don't know. I don't understand the aesthetic or the appeal to all of it.
I'm not a big horror fan. Like, I like it when it's done right. And then, like, some stuff, like, I like the anthology stuff, like Tales from the Crypt and, Tales from the Dark Side.
There is word, I think his last time you called in, you were upset that isn't on HBO. There is rumor it's about to come back.
It's on Shudder.
Okay, I was like, I heard it's coming back to somewhere. I don't know where.
Yeah, it's on Shudder now. They just, they're airing a new season every Friday.
Nice.
So
that'll
be
that's
season 2
a reason to have your own servers and download your own shit. That's where I've been at lately. I shouldn't admit this here because they're a fucking conglomerate giant, but like ever since Prime added commercials to Amazon Prime, I'm like, I don't even give a fuck about watching any of their shit. Like, I'm not gonna watch The Boys for it to be like, and here's fucking ads about your Todd shit. I'm like, I don't know. Mainly because like my wife already pays for the Prime. And It's like, I don't know. I just don't like it. And so I just will download them. I'm like, I would rather download it and then so I can watch without commercials than open up their stupid fucking app. So
I just don't have download time anymore. You know what I mean? Like I used to have time to download everything.
What I do lately is I make a list on my phone the same way I do in this podcast. And then when I do get like, oh shit, I have a couple hours, I'll like if I can get around to it. But yeah, I don't have time for anything. I don't know what's happened. I've explained this many times with the podcast, but this year, for some reason, everything has just changed. And I used to feel like I was flooded with extra time. And that's how I could do all my creative stuff. And now I just feel like it just something happened. Like in the simulation, they hit a switch somewhere and like all of a sudden it just doesn't exist. And I don't know how to explain it.
Sometimes, I don't know. For me, I think sometimes it's my schedule. I just get drained. Like, it's like right now, like, I mean, I should be trying to work on more music, like new stuff, but like I'm so wrapped up in all the remixing that like I do that when I can, but then if I'm not doing that, I'm just like sluggish on the couch. Like I don't know.
Yeah, you got to recharge it. I mean, I didn't think I was going to write any more music for a while after my last album because most of the songs are like really depressing. I mean, really, when you listen, so it's like it's draining in some way. And I really like when I'm doing like rapidy rap. Like I think Needle Nose Flow and Come Through and all that. I think those are like, I like that myself. I don't think other people like love it or think it's the greatest. So like I'm like, I don't know if that's what I should post, but I do enjoy it. But
I know Rap Nerd really enjoyed that Needle Nose Flow, which I mean, of course I did too. That's why I sent it in. I was like, this is a banger. Like.
When going from our song Out of Time into it, when you listen to it together as an album, I really like that I pulled that off pretty well. I know it's a small thing or whatever, but it's pretty cool.
Well, I mean, it's not really small though, because like they said, you're putting together a body of work, and you have, we all have our thoughts and ticks about what we want to do. Like same way with this Mo Bones project. I mean, it's 26 tracks. So people look at it and go, holy shit, it's 26 tracks. Like what,
it's
like
a lot.
That feels like overkill, but it's also in like a 70-minute span. So it's not necessarily, I'm learning now, like when I was doing all the remixing and stuff 2 years ago, like I was dropping these, 35 song collections just because I can, But now I'm going back and I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, well, let me just see what I can put together in an actual disc format, and put it that way.
Right.
Like how I used to do, I mean, that's how we used to do back then.
Yeah, you only have so much room.
Yeah,
I mean, I
like
always get annoyed every time I make a card test for Soko's album I'm mixing. It's 2 songs too long, and so I'm just decided I'm no longer mixing the song that I'm on because I'm like fuck it, and then I'm no longer mixing the outro because it's really long, and I'm like I just had to cut them off so I can get it all on a CD for a card test, and you're like,
right.
So there is something about it, like it needs to be under the 80 minutes,
Yeah, I've been burning the data disc lately and just like putting all the tracks on there because I guess I can say it now. Raised Stakes comes out on the 22nd, and that's basically a recollection of all the early mixes I did on your beats for like remixes to my older songs. So, I've got all that.
And really just because it's kind of how we started talking the subject of you're not able to do new music, you're stuck on these remixes or whatever. Like I get the same way of just, it's not getting stuck on you get stuck on what's in your head. Like in your mind, you're like, this is next in my journey or whatever. Right. And then you're like, I got to do that. So for instance, right now, the last beat I made, I think was DT4, which I know people don't care, but my goal, I numbered them a certain way. Once I get through DZ10, I'm going to take a big break of making beats. And so I'm like, I just got to that's 40 more beats. When you're like, if you want to take a break, just take a break. But I'm like, no, I have to get to that point because that's what I told myself in my head. So there's like, and maybe this is, I have ADHD or whatever, and it's part of into the creative thing, but it's like you make these deals with yourself or whatever. And then you're like, I have to do that because I made a deal with myself. Yeah. So that's kind of what I do with this podcast as well. It's why I'm like, if I go past episode 50, I feel like I'm stuck to the 100. You know what I mean? And before I can make a decision again. But I know it doesn't matter. No one cares. But I care.
But I mean, in your mind, you're kind of like set in a certain way of it. So I get it totally.
Yeah. Or even the songs. Like I wanted to. I've pulled other beats to make another Classy album because to me. I understand no one else cares, but to me, Classy 1 and Classy 2 were like me learning how to make sample-based beats, and I are like really honing in on that. And so now when I make a really good one that has a certain sound, I'm like, well, that has to be for a Classy album, which I'm like, no one cares, but I do. So I'm like, no, that goes to the special folder or whatever. It's
I totally get that because you had mentioned that one cover I posted on Facebook with the mummy, and like you were like, it's supposed to be called Under Wraps, but I really don't know what it's going to be consistent of because like right now I'm sitting here and I still have a lot of songs from 2007 that I haven't re-recorded. I got like 13 notebooks of songs and I've just been going backwards through all of them. But then, like I said, we're jumping time. Like there's so many time jumps from where you'll hear one track where it's a verse from 2008 and then the next track, it's 2021, so it's just like the contrast of it.
As Matthew McConaughey says in True Detective season 1, time is a flat circle,
What a great show.
that season's so good.
That season was so great.
If they made none and just left that one, it would easily be the greatest miniseries of all time. But they just couldn't not make another season. They're like, no, we're going to do another one.
It's like, they had to capitalize off of it. Yeah. It's like, they had a chemistry that was there that you just couldn't deny.
Well, it's because they're brothers. I love this theory.
That's what I was going to say. That's what they're saying.
I love this theory that people don't know Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey are in True Detective season 1. And Woody Harrelson's dad was involved with intelligence agencies in some way, or was a hitman, one or the other, or both. And he thinks his dad was involved with the JFK stuff. And then also he thinks that his dad, slept around or whatever. Matthew McConaughey, I guess, didn't know his dad, and the timing would work out in the area it was at where Woody Harrelson's dad could be Matthew McConaughey's dad, and they just don't know it, like long lost brothers. And now I know it's just a fun story, but then their chemistry is just so good. It was very good. And so shout out True Detective. And then something else you were saying in that stuff you're talking about, I wish I remembered all. Something about, I was going to reference Dat Piff era Because man, I've lost it. I was like, something you said connected to something else you said earlier, but you know, I get
how it goes, man.
You lose it sometimes.
Well, what I was gonna say was you were talking about that main site that you were on, the Lil Wayne site.
Yeah, Lil Wayne HQ.
At that time, I was on a site called MixxDawg.
Okay.
I think it was MixxDawg, and it was basically where they were constantly dropping like leaks every day. So like, for example, like I can't name all of them off my head, of course, but one of them was like, when Crack a Bottle came out, and it came out with the Eminem reference version, where it was even him doing Dre's verse and 50's part, you know, and then people were like, what the hell is this? Cause he sounded like Dre on one verse and 50 on the other. So it's like, what the hell, you know? But like, those were the kind of sites we had back then, and that was awesome. Now it's like YouTube, and that was cool for a while, but AI has made it where you don't even know what's real anymore.
Well, I think peak internet stuff, and I know I mentioned before, there was this internet radio show I was on called SDB, Strictly Down to Business Radio, and they just had an internet radio show Tuesday and Thursday nights for a couple hours. You could submit your songs, and they had a like DJ host guy that would talk and shit. And it was very fun, very cool. You could do a link into an iTunes, and then it would like just tune in on your iTunes into their thing, and so you didn't have to be on their website and their chat room if you didn't want to be. But I would send that link to all kinds of people and be like, they're playing my songs tonight, and they were like cool with me. So I was young and not that good, but you know they would shout me out and all that shit. And that was just so much fun. And then the way I found them, and really the website, I guess, that was for me the mecca really early on, and it doesn't get enough love, is SoundClick. So back in the day, SoundClick, and it still exists. I kind of think I'm considering reviving my page and trying to sell beats on there, because that's really what it was there for people to find beats. But there was a forum part where you could go on the forums, and I was heavy in the forums for at least a year, you know, that I was really into it. And you would just do all these collabs, and they had these song battles that it's one of my favorite early memories. There was like, in some forum, it was like the top 8 songs of the website, and then you could challenge someone, you know, if you wanted to. And there was this like old rapper that sounded like, you know, some old school shit that I was hating on because I was young. And then I recruited a couple guys on the forum, and we made a song called Badass Rapper. And we were like, we won. Like, we went head to head with them, and then the community voted, and our song beat theirs. And I was so like, that was so much fun. You know what I mean? Like, that shit doesn't exist. I want another podcast idea I have is I would love to do a music podcast just like that. Here's the top 8 songs, and they've claimed whatever genres, and you could submit your song to battle, and then we'll have people vote somewhere. But like, it requires so much interaction that I just don't think people would automatically do, you know? But then it was like, people were just doing it. I don't know.
Back then it was easy. Like how when I was on Twitter in like 2012, when I think I first joined Twitter was 2012, and you know, I'd be on there, and you know you had all these different avenues where you could do stuff like what was it? Tweet my song was something they had where you could just, you know, have your song, and then you make a tweet, and it would, you know, you could make it automated, and then it was like you could share other people's songs, and there was just so much more interaction back then. Like I was constantly on Twitter, like hammering. All the time, just, you know, promoting, talking, networking. I was doing everything. I wasn't just like, hey, check out my song. Hey, check out my song. Hey, check, you know, but now that's what it feels like. It's like any of those forums you go to, it's just that. Right.
Well, Reddit would be like, well, no, just do it on Reddit. But Reddit sucks. I mean, it doesn't suck, but it just sucks for that. You're not finding genuine people. I mean, they're real people. They can't be, but like I said, they just want you to listen to their song, which of course that's what you want as well. But I guess there was like this level of respect back in the day of like, you check out mine, I'll check out yours, and if we like, you know, I don't know. It's like changed a little.
That was cool how you know, you said the accolade that you got with, you know, you guys winning in the Song Wars, right? With that song you had. It was like with MixxDawg, that's what I did, was they were putting out an unsigned hype mixtape, and I sent in, you know, one of my songs, and it got put on there. So that was cool. You know, stuff like that was cool back then. Now everything's about the money.
I would say, I know you know this website. I just lost Reverb Nation. I think Reverb Nation kind of ruined it all, because when Reverb Nation first started, it was somewhat real. And then very quickly, someone bought it or did something where it was all bots and all fake. And like, it just flipped overnight. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, that fucking scene. I remember also MTV had a website. I want to say it was Last FM or something like that. Maybe it wasn't exactly. It was something, and you could submit a song, and then people would listen and vote on it for shit. And it was like if it went so far, or something. Like there just was a lot of stuff like that you were always like trying to be in little competitions and shit.
Well, you were talking about the Reverb Nation thing. Like I used to always submit my songs and stuff to like all those contests they had on Reverb Nation, and then you had, they would sometimes you get approved or whatever, but then there'd always be a catch. You'd always have to, buy this or subscribe to that or blah blah blah. And that was even they had reviews where people were supposedly doing reviews of your songs. You can go to my website, the flatlinermusic.net, and I have all those reviews there. People can go and read all these reviews that these people left on several of my songs. It's like some point, some of them seem real, but then some of them don't.
Right.
Like
what's that one?
Repetitive after a while.
Number one music. I still get those emails, right? It's like, I love your music. It's like so clearly fucking a European bot or something. And then, I'm like, well, it came out 12 years ago, so glad you're still appreciating it.
Yeah.
Here's a random thing. Just because normally the second segment I talk about video games and sports. Do you have any video game or sports thoughts? I don't have anything necessarily on my list I have to talk about, but
I just
do you play anything?
Well, I just got this game system. Was it off of what was the name of the place I got it from? I can't think right now, but it's like a big
like retro game machine.
Yeah, retro game tower. And I think it has like 50,000 games on it, something like that. A lot of different consoles, and I'm gonna try to jump into that a little bit. But like I played video games a lot when I was in high school, and of course, when we were younger, like the Nintendo days and stuff, like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PlayStation. I was big into all that, but I think like the last console I played was Xbox 360. I think that was the last one. So like, I don't know, like I always play obscure games. So, like the Family Guy game or, Beavis and Butthead, stuff like that.
Like a lot of licensed stuff. I love the Beavis and Butthead game on Sega Genesis. That was my jam.
That has it. That has it, but it's 16-bit, so it looks god awful.
Right, it's like the Master System version or whatever. Yeah. That's the problem with all those retro. I have a couple Anbernics, which is a brand of like they look like Game Boys, but they're loaded up with like 1,000 all those shit. But I always find a way like you can get a different card for it, and then you can put your own games on it. So because really, once you get above a certain number of games, you're never going to play any of them. It's just too many. You like decision paralysis. Right. You're like, and even that, I have like 400 games on mine. I'm like, this is way too many. I just scroll through all the Super Nintendo games. I'm like, oh yeah, I love that one. Oh, that one's good too. But you like never actually click and play it.
I went down the list. And I came across Earthworm Jim, and I was like, holy shit, Earthworm Jim, and it's like that. That took me back because that was.
Well, I think, I love retro games. I guess not as much as some people, but a lot of things that I would have played then, I play now. I'm like, oh, this sucks. Certain games hold up. Like I think Pokemon's forever. They just were so solid or whatever. Like there's Mario always will be good, but there's other things you play. And you're like, oh my god, I can't believe I fucking loved this. Like this shit's trash. But yeah, I was just always curious where you're on the video. I could see because you're so into other pop culture things that I could see you into, but I could so see like you just. So I'm not saying you grew out of it necessarily, but some people just leave it behind or whatever.
I kind of grew out of it because I was always playing a game with my buddy Kane, and we just constantly would play video games all the time, and I don't know, it started to fall out of it around 50 Cent's Bulletproof.
Right. Oh, that was. Today at my job, I said something about 50 Cent, and this guy I work with was like, oh, he has a PlayStation 2 game. And I go, I think it's Blood in the Sand. And he goes, I think there's another one. And I was like, okay. And then so I think there is Bulletproof and there is Blood in the Sand. Those are the two.
Bulletproof was the first one. I don't remember. I guess that was on that was on PS2, I think.
Good old 50 Cent days.
Yeah, that was a cool time too. Like I said, going back in the whole nostalgia phase of everything, just talking about music and all that, it's always nice.
Right. Well, I think I talked about it one week on here, but I've gotten in possession of a DDR pad, like a full size arcade size DDR pad. And it's behind this computer or whatever. I'd grab it for everybody. And so I have a PS2 and I've hacked this PS2. I have 500 games on it or some shit in the hard drive. And it's I spent like a month obsessing over it, barely played it, right? But I have a couple DDR games on it, and so I've been playing some on this DDR pad, and it is so fun just to hear like I wasn't even a Sean Paul fan. Like I was a Sean Paul of the Youngbloods fan. But not of the other Sean Paul, and it was all because I like the other guy. But Get Busy is like one of the songs, and when Get Busy is blasted out of my speakers, and I'm fucking DDR padding it, I'm like, you know what, this is a fucking jam, you know. And that's like all of the songs. I'm like, these songs are pretty fucking. It's kind of funny.
I was playing a playlist last week where that song popped up.
Oh, we kind of lost your audio there. I don't know what happened.
I coughed. What happened?
Oh, there we go. You're back. Okay. It sounded like my ears popped, but it was like digital. I was like, I understand.
For some reason.
And then sports wise, do you pay attention to any sports, care about anything? Like there's a big UFC fight I'm kind of excited about in a couple of, it would have already happened when this comes out. But like I love how like WWE-ish Sean Strickland is with his redneck self. And I know he's like an asshole. And the fight's going to probably suck, but I'm so excited for it because they're just talking so much shit. You know, I'm like, I like when a UFC fight's like, let's just really talk a lot of shit. I don't know. I like that.
Nah, I don't know. Like, I don't follow fights or anything like that. And I was never really big into boxing, so it never really rolled over into the UFC thing for me. Like, of course, I liked wrestling, you know, when I was younger, but that's, you know, a fallout of that too. Even though I do kind of like,
Huh? I think wrestling sucks now. I gave it a shot when I went to Netflix. I was like, I haven't watched it in years because I think it does kind of suck. But let me give it a shot. And I was like, I understand I was a dumb kid when I was young, but I just think they were better in our era. I think these new guys just suck, or the presentation, or maybe the cameras are too good. So you need that shitty camera quality to like blur the lines of. I don't know. It just
I feel like it was it was somewhat more believable when we were younger than it is now, because there's so much has come out to show you that it's not real.
Well, see, that's the thing. And I get caught up on this part too of like, because I always thought I fell out of it because I saw an A&E thing about WWF and Vince McMahon just talking normal, like, and it's fake and it's this, you know, he's being so matter of fact. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy that he just admitted it. But I think you always knew it. There's no way it's real, right? I mean, like you have to know in some way. And I'd watch it with my dad, and I always thought he believed it was real, but I don't think it's that. I think it's just wrestling fans. They're just along for the story, right? They're like, that's fun. It's to be part of it. Snappy's brother was a amateur professional wrestler, and I was at a wrestling event, and Snappy starts arguing with the guy who owns the event, like from the crowd, right? And it was very funny, but it's like Snappy was just playing into it, having a good time, you know?
Right.
It's like, I think they are just having fun, the fans. It's just hard for me. Like, you have to be better. If this is a theater play or whatever with a high action, then you got to be better than that. That guy, I just judge it differently. I'm like, I need
like that South Park episode where they're all wrestling. They do their own.
I don't remember that one, to be honest with you.
WTF. I think that's what it was called.
I have to look it up. Yeah, I fell off for South Park somewhere in the teens episodes, and then I came back whenever. I don't know. I saw the Butter collection on Netflix one day and watched it and was like, oh my God, these are so good. And then I came back.
I didn't want to take you off of what we were talking about wrestling. I was just like, how like in the episode, like Vince McMahon shows up and like they're like basically like it's a Broadway play. And like, oh my God, Vince McMahon's here. Like, everybody know your lines, everybody hit your places, you know, like it just kind of turned into a whole pageantry thing.
Yeah.
But no, what I was gonna say was, when I was big into wrestling, like I was a huge Triple H fan. So then like when he, what was it? He tore his quad or something like that. I think it was.
And he lost all of his muscles.
Yeah.
He got the steroids for a second. He like changed his whole body shape for a second.
So then he did the big comeback and all that. And like I was following that whole thing. Like I'm buying the magazine with him on there with the whole road to recovery and all that. And it's like now I look back at it all and I'm like, I wonder if that shit was even real. You know
I think he really got injured, but yeah, they just capitalized on it. I mean, which is cool and I think now what it is, like, if you know the behind the scenes, that's like part of it as well. And now they're faking the behind the scenes so that you don't know what's real there or not. And that really started with my dad claimed at the moment that NWO ruined wrestling. Like, my dad loved WCW wrestling. So every Monday night growing up, we would watch it together. And my dad really hated the NWO, and he would be like, "Fucking NWO," like, but we still watched it, and he was part of like the fandom or whatever. But I think behind that was when they started doing it, like we got the behind the scenes storylines, right? And that was like the angle there, but that was all fake too, like that was just the reality TV show version of it, and so I guess it always evolves. What it is now, it's for teenagers or younger that are kind of into superhero movies, and this is like a version of it for them. And then I don't know, it doesn't seem that good to me. That's all I was saying about wrestling.
It's definitely a lot weaker because it's all stuff that at some point you're kind of like, we've kind of seen this before, in a more similar way. But I was gonna say, with you saying NWO, like for me, I was a huge Dennis Rodman fan, like all through my childhood. So, and then of course I was watching Nitro before he even showed up there. So then when he showed up, that was just like complete freak out for me. I'm like, Rodman's on the NWO. He's on wrestling now. Like it's, when you're a kid, you freaking out over stuff like that because.
Yeah, I mean, they used because what was it? Karl Malone was with Diamond Dallas Page or something. That was like something like that in a storyline. I mean, I used to have like I had like the Best of Bash for the Beach VHSs. I had like all those, like a lot of those VHS. So like I was pretty into it. And then I have so many cousins. I mentioned this last week, but you get to an age and all of a sudden you're like, well, I'll pass all this stuff down to this cousin, and then you don't have it anymore. And then they're really into it, and you just kind of, that's how I lost a lot of my game consoles that I wish I still had, the old ones. Cause you just have, like, you're required to sell it to your younger cousin for fucking $20 or something. And you're like, no, it's what you're supposed to do. And you're like, no, I want this Super Nintendo forever.
I wish I hadn't sold my regular Nintendo, cause I just had drawers full of games. Because, like, me and my pop, we would just go to yard sales, and I would just get game after game after game. I just have them, getting 15, 20 at a time, go back to the house and just play them nonstop.
That's dope. I mean, that was the first system I had, was an NES as well. And to me, the only time I ever got a new NES game was at a flea market, which I know I mentioned those last week as well. But they're in Bowie, Texas. They had this flea market. It was like the third weekend of every month in the summer, whatever the fuck the rules were, and you would go there, and then they would just have like, as I remember getting Mario 2 after I'd already played in Mario 3, but I just had never seen it before, and then you go to a flea market and see, and you're like, oh my god, Mario 2, and you like freak out about it. I remember one game that I've never been able to find, and it was just like one of those top down, you're basically just shooting things coming at you, right? Things are coming from the top of the screen and your little guys at the bottom shooting stuff, but it was like you were like an archangel. Like you had wings and you were like firing missiles and shit. And I was like, it was really stuck out.
I don't know if I can recall that one. Yeah. I know I had weird games too, like caveman games. Do you remember that one?
I think I've seen people brought out, but I didn't have it myself. Yeah, I didn't have too many in any other. I probably about 12 games.
Really zany stuff, but
yeah, I had a good time. I used to love this Mickey Mouse game they had, and then I've looked it up now, and it's like considered one of the dumbest, hardest games or whatever. And I'm like, what? I love this shit when I was a kid.
Right.
And they're like, it's so hard. You can't even get past this level. I was like, I think I got past the level all the time. It wasn't that we were better at games as a kid. We had nothing else to do, and you would just fucking do
the
it.
Excitement level was a lot higher because, things were limited back then. We had phones on the wall. So it was.
Well, I think another thing that could kill some people's excitement, because I know it has a little bit for me, I guess. But back in the day, like on a PS1, I'm like, these graphics are so good. And if a game came out and we're like, look at these graphics, you're like, holy fuck, it's fucking real. But look at it now and it's like not real at all. And now games come out and they look like real life, like the newest game. And then you're like, cool. They look just like real life. I don't know. It lost all. Somehow it got so good that it's not impressive anymore, like in a weird way. So,
yeah, all that stuff. It was like that. It just the level up. So cool though.
Here's a random thing off my list so I can mark it off.
Okay.
The CIA's just always been behind all the pop culture, and I kind of get sad sometimes talking to my wife about it, and she thinks I'm kind of crazy, but she deals with it. Where I'm just like, I know so much about pop culture, just like I know you do. I know you have like your areas you're really knowledgeable, and I'm, I could probably go on like the pop culture Jeopardy show or whatever, and I'm like, I think it was all a lie. I think the CIA started pop culture in like the 50s. They were in control of all of it the whole time, whether directly or like from a higher up level where they're funding certain things that make certain results happen, And so they decided who was going to be famous in rock bands and rap music, and they decided what, was going to be pushed and what TV shows you watch. And I think they were just in control the whole time. And that way it makes you feel like you had no choice in any of it. Like, I'm such a fan of this. You're like, I'm a fan of this because they fucking made me a fan of that or whatever.
I totally see that angle that you're getting at with that. I think, to me, in my mind, when I see it, there's so much art, like classic art, that's like mocked now.
Right.
Like, you notice like so many different properties mock it, and like the Scream, what was the other one? American Gothic.
Yeah.
Like a lot of those, Starry Night, all those paintings, then you're almost like, if they can mock it like that, then how classic really was it? Was it as special as, we thought it was when we were kids? Like, because we thought art was top shelf when we were young because, we were impression. There it is, impression. And
yeah.
That what you're talking about, the impressional?
I think impressions is actually where they do a little less detail, but I could be wrong. It's hard for me to keep them all. It's been a while. I
thought it was an era. Like, I thought
there is an impressional
what you were
era,
talking
for
about,
sure.
an impressional era. But, yeah, like, I just thought that, like, looking at art when we were kids.
I've also listened to a podcast, I think it was Revisionist History, one of these smart podcasts I listened to, where it's about the art world and how basically modern day art is just money laundering. What I mean? Like, so I do think it's always been that. Like, it's just rich people finding an excuse to do stuff with their money to hide other things, because who the fuck would spend $2 billion on a fucking white blank canvas or what? It's crazy.
What's even crazier is, in the job that I work out, we sell books, right? So like, we sell $50, $100 art books. Like, we have this company that we're selling books for now called ACC. And like, these are these high priced books just full of pictures of stuff that you can look at on Google. Right. And I'm like, who the fuck is paying $100+ for these books?
I've had to print off all my favorite memes in one of these books, just in case the internet goes down.
Just reprints. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be different if there was autographs or anything else, like something of value to it, but it's not. It's like, you can go print this with a photo printer right now. Like, yeah, my supervisor says, well, it's because, people want coffee table books. $100+ coffee table books, really? Like,
I mean, if they're buying, I guess, but yeah, it seems like there's.
I mean, we sell $60 pairs of socks too, so I mean, I guess there's.
Listen, I refuse to ever use DoorDash because I'm like, the waste of money. So I don't understand how some people do it. I'm just cheap to my core. I've learned, I guess.
I kind of hated it when my car went down and I started using DoorDash, and I had to use it for a few months. That was around the same time I did that episode with you where we talked about the OC and stuff.
Gotcha.
But yeah, my car was down and I was having to use DoorDash all the time, which, I mean, because once you start using it, you kind of get addicted to it, even though you know that like you're spending way more than you should be.
I know I totally need to play a song, but it also reminds me, I went to Arby's 2 weeks ago or something, and I just always go on the apps and I order my food off the apps and I go pick it up. And so this lady thought I was like a DoorDasher picking it up, and she was so rude to me. And then I was like, hey, can I get some extra Arby's sauce? And she was like, oh, fuck. And then finally something clicked and she goes, did you order this yourself? And I was like, yeah. She goes, oh, I'm so sorry. What else can I get? Like, her whole attitude changed. And I was like, wow. What does it matter to you? It was crazy. I was like, it was dumbfounding to me. I've also not gone into it, but I want to get into this lady at Brahms, which is a Oklahoma-based chain, like burger, ice cream thing. But there's one across the street from me, and it's very good. But there's this new lady they have on the thing, and they sell a bag of burgers. You can get 5 like little small hamburgers for like $7 or something, and they call it a bag of burgers. And I'm like, let me get a bag of burgers. And she goes, do you want a bag of hamburgers or cheeseburgers? And I get so mad at this because I'm like, on your menu, it's called a bag of burgers, and if I want cheese, I would say add cheese. Like, it just gets under my skin so much that she asks that every time. And I'm like, do you not know your own? It's, one of those weird. It
sounds quirks. Like that liter of cola joke.
Exactly. Exactly what it is. Shout out Farmer.
Troopers. Classic.
All right, let's play a song here. The next song we're going with is from a friend of the podcast, Riko, Redz. He's been on an Intervet Friends album. He was on Retrograde, maybe. I can't remember. Maybe he was on mine and Brad's album. He was on one of those.
He was on Bros with me.
Yeah, there you go. That is with that Internet
Cypher.
Internet Cypher. That's right. And so he sent me a few songs he had coming out, and I was like, oh yeah, man, I'll try to spread them across a couple months here with everybody. Cool. So this is Riko Redz. Name is Rockstar Every Day featuring MixxDawg. Let's give it a listen.
Yeah, bitch, I'm a rock star, live it every day. I don't give a fuck what the haters gotta say. Going through this money, I'ma spend it every way. We been counting checks, me and Riko plenty pay. I'ma hop up on the stage. I know that I'm different, I can show all y'all my ways. VIP, we hitting bitches on the backstage. Better get our tickets, cause this shit ain't be a fade. Gonna be some grades.
Waking up every day, this is how we living dreams. Rockstar on the road by any means. This is in my blood, this shit is really in my genes. I never gotta fake it, all you actors just be skipping scenes. Fuck if you thinking this shit is a phase. Never gonna broke no minimum wage. Cargo wild, wanna get on the stage. Monday to Sunday, got bitches for days. My spirit risky, I get in a rage. Demon time, they open the cage. If you want smoke, I'm breathing the haze. Chip on your shoulder, I'm eating your legs.
Yeah, bitch, I'm a rock star, live it every day. I don't give a fuck what the haters gotta say. Going through this money, I'ma spend it every way. We been counting checks, me and Riko plenty pay. I'ma hop up on the stage. I know that I'm different, I can show all y'all my ways. VIP, we hitting bitches on the backstage. Better get our tickets, cause this shit ain't be a fade. Gonna be some grades. Can't believe you overdosed. You were my number one and now you're in the ground. People looking stupid while they wearing all these frowns. I'ma be a rock star, put me in the ground. Hold up, shh, Riko, what's the sound?
That's the sound that makes wanna up in my riches. I hop off the stage, I'm fucking these bitches. I'm running the boy and feeling for pictures. I'm running the crew cause my team is the winner. Try to give me brain and she think I'm a genius. The world of my dick and they eating my penis. Show water it down, you think you could be us. Worldwide toys where your haters can see us.
Yeah, bitch, I'm a rock star, live it every day. I don't give a fuck what the haters gotta say. Going through this money, I'ma spend it every way. We been counting checks, me and Riko plenty pay. I'ma hop up on the stage. I know that I'm different, I can show all y'all my ways. VIP, we hitting bitches on the backstage. Better get our tickets, cause this shit ain't be a fade. Gonna be some grades.
Okay.
Riko Redz.
Yeah.
With Rockstar Every Day.
He was going in on that.
Yeah. And then MixxDawg, I think, is with the hook there, if I had to guess, because I know Riko's voice is. And I thought that sounded good. I think the mix was pretty good because I know Riko Redz, I've always struggled mixing with his stuff because he has so many layers and that's not how I do stuff, but I always try my best.
Right.
But I felt like that mix sounded pretty good on that one.
Yeah.
So,
we were talking about the CJ stuff and all that earlier. It's funny because, I did music with somebody named Riko Redz all the way back in our Grindhouse days, back in was it 09, 2010?
Hey, dog, quit barking. We're doing a podcast. Crazy.
Mine's over here doing his little huff thing he does.
Yeah, in the middle of that song, she came in, got on this couch. I can't see her she's where H2's head is. But she's looking out, being a big guard dog at the moment. So she's gotten huge very quickly. So
yeah,
we're going to see. Hey,
what kind of dog is it?
It's she looks just like a golden lab, but I know the mother is a Kalahua, which is like a big hunting dog thing. And but she doesn't look like it at all. She looks just like a golden lab. So anyway, I'll try to cut those barks. We'll see what happens. All right, well, let's make a quick short end segment because we fucked around forever too long on that second one. But that's how it goes.
Yeah, this is true.
I find Joe Budden super unlikable, but I know a lot of people like him because they listen to his podcast. And I guess he had like a moment where he was in the Slaughterhouse rap group, so people are like, no, he's got bars. And I'm like, I guess, but he wasn't. I don't know. He didn't stand out to me out of that trio or whatever they were.
Well, like right around that same time where I discovered B.O.B., that's when I listened to Slaughterhouse too. Like their first album that was on, it was through Koch. And, that was before they even got picked up by Shady and all that. But that album is it's a pretty solid project. Like they were all, you know, beast on it. But I mean, of course, Joe's style is so awkward that like his lines kind of get lost in it. You know what I mean?
I know most people think of Pump It Up as their go-to, like that's the Joe Budden song, and it is. But to me, my first thing when I think of him and rapping, it's that BET Cypher where it was Slaughterhouse and Eminem. Yeah. And I just immediately go to that, and he sounded, I don't know, I just think he sounds so corny in that shit, you know, or whatever. But maybe they all did. I think that's one where Eminem's like, you vote for Trump, or maybe I don't know. He got one real political in one where I was like, oh no, why are you doing this? You used to hate on all the politicians, and now you're choosing sides, and I don't like it.
And he shook hands with him at the Shady National Convention.
Oh, there you go. I didn't.
Well, he was what was it? Introduced by Trump at the Shady National Convention when he did Encore.
Oh, you're right. So, well, that's just because they're showing you know, it's all one big one big scam. Just like with Sacha Baron Cohen fell in his lap with his ass in his face. And
because then I read an article, I don't know, maybe a few months or so after that, where he said like he had to go to the hotel room and he just laughed his ass off.
Right.
The whole time. Like,
I think that's a thing. And earlier we were mentioning how, I guess this plays into wrestling. And then also we mentioned something earlier, how some performances are better than the now. I don't remember what we were talking about earlier, but
right.
It is kind of even that, like, music acts used to act. Like that was part of the music. Like, right, they were acting this thing. And I think we've gone to a place now where like everyone wants their artists to be genuine. So whether we have genuine artists or we have people pretending to be, you know what I mean? Like, I think Drake is probably one of the greatest actors of all time. And he's been acting in the role as the rapper Drake. You know what I mean? Like he's Aubrey Graham acting as the rapper Drake, and he's one of the best to do it, you know, or whatever. But I think a lot of rappers are actors.
Well, yeah. And like for us, and see, our thing is that like, you know, we're independent, and a lot of stuff that we rap about is just about our day-to-day life and, you know, what we have going on and all that. And we don't have that kind of platform to just take on that full persona like they do.
Right.
You know, so they just take on that full persona, and then it's all just seems like an act. Like I know you were mentioning Drake. I'm thinking of that scene in Atlanta whenever everybody's paying to take a picture with him.
Right.
And then it turns out it's just a cardboard cutout of him, and everybody's just been paying to take pictures with this cardboard cutout to post on Instagram to get clout.
Yeah. It's the episode where all the women are trying to go to the Drake party, I believe.
Yeah.
It's like the premise of it.
Yeah, I don't even know where we were going, but that
Joe
Justin
Budden.
Bieber, like that Justin Bieber performance, like
the
he had
recent one, like Coachella,
where he basically did all the different layers, and I mean, he used his YouTube as kind of like a guide.
Again, I guess it's all conspiracy, I guess, but word is that if he would have performed them normally, he would have had to pay Scooter Braun a bunch of money because Scooter Braun owns the writers' copies or whatever. And if he plays it off YouTube and like karaoke's over it, he's covered by some common license thing where he didn't have to pay money to do that to somebody. So like that's they're claiming business wise behind the scene why he did it. And then when you hear that, you're like, well, that's rather a genius move of using and making it still artsy. Or you're like, oh, it's all fake. And he just, you know, I don't know. But I kind of like, you know, good for him. I don't care.
Yeah, the way he did it. I mean, and I've always done it that way as far as like when we go do shows and stuff, like I don't perform like over the naked track, you know, like I always have my backing track with it.
I've never performed, but I always thought in my mind I would try to do it without a backing track, but I think you'd have to have a good hype man.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do it without that. Yeah.
A lot of times people can't really memorize all my stuff to that degree. Right. So, you know, it's not like, and I mean, we're talking about performances, like Proof had M's back every performance.
Right.
So like he knew word for word, catch the ad libs, catch the end words, all that stuff. Like he knew where to come in and out at. So you have to definitely have that.
Because they had a gay relationship. No. So you heard it here first. Let's see. What else do I have? I'm sure we have something fun. Here's a random one. What pocket do you keep stuff in? For me, keys are in the front right pocket, cell phone in the left pocket, wallet in the back right. And it's always that way and never different. But
all right. right. My keys are always in my front right. My wallet's in my back left.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. I feel weird, like, because sometimes I get pants where all I have is a right back pocket, and that's where I have to put my wallet. And I feel weird when I have to do that. I don't know
I feel
why,
like I have a lot of back problems and my spine's all weird shaped. And I think it's part of it's because of the wallet in my back pocket for years. And so I should switch it to the left to like balance it out for a few years, maybe.
What, do you have like one of those big wallets?
I used to. I don't now. Mine's like a money clip that holds an ID.
Oh,
hey,
okay.
Chill out.
Yeah, I just got the little BioWorld double fold, like, just a regular. That's my wallet.
Right. Yeah, it's not too bad. I used to think I had a triple fold at one time, and it was thick. Some thick boys. Also, what was popular around here, and I'm sure around there, I think y'all are still pretty country, is those like long checkbook wallets. A lot of guys when I was young would like have a long ass checkbook. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all doing?
Yeah, my stepbrother Randy had that, and I'm just like, oh, what? Why? What's the point? I
only wrote like less than 100 checks in my whole life.
I've never wrote a check.
See, when I first got to college, I had a checking account, so I got my first checking book, and I know I didn't use it the whole thing. Eventually I just ran out, quit, cancel that account or something. But the first check I wrote was to a high school friend of mine for an ounce of weed. I was like, can I write you a check for it? He was like, yeah. And I was like, all right, sweet. I wrote
Paper trail.
Yeah, just straight up. I was like, here, $80. Here you go.
Damn.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty sweet. I was excited for the future.
Now, now I'm sure what do they do now? They cash out for weed. That's what they do.
Let's see. In our state at the moment, cash only business is a dispensary because they're not federally recognized. But I know that just changed with them become Schedule 3. So I think shit's about to change about that soon. So
yeah,
all of a sudden you can get loans and stuff for your businesses if it's marijuana related, all that. All right, here's my last thing, and maybe you'll have an opinion. I've had this idea. Why don't we have nursing home for young people? Like, if I was not married or whatever, and I could just live and get like a room for some reasonable rate, and then there's someone there that cooks for you a meal every day, and then you just come and you like hang out in your room the way they do it at a nursing home. I feel like this is a good business model because you don't have to hire nurses, at least not as many. I mean, the people are young and normal, not sick. Why not just nursing home for normal people that don't require nursing? Maybe that's a tenant building, but I feel like there's something here, in the new market.
Well, maybe it's just because a nursing home is simply for, people that their families don't want to deal with them anymore.
There are plenty of young people like that.
That's true. You're right.
And I'm not even saying like young people that are like have problems, but like, if you're in your 20s and you don't have a significant other or 30, whatever, and you're like, yeah, I could just pay a cheaper rate to have a one room at this place. And then they have a staff that cooks, a front desk person, TVs, game nights, all the shit a nursing home would have. I feel like you could make this. I mean, houses are so expensive now, I feel like there's a market here, I guess is where I'm getting at.
That's what they had when I went to Lakeside, the mental institution in
Perfect.
Memphis. That's what it was like. It was that's what we did. We had the first time I went, they put me in a really dangerous wing or whatever. Like people were fighting and people getting their jaws wired shut and shit like that. But
almost had through the wire that thing.
Yeah, pretty much. But like it was great food and they feed you like heavily there, and got to play basketball. We had a karaoke night. We had game night. We had all kinds of stuff. Like it was actually pretty fun. I mean, all things considered, even though I just had like a mental breakdown. So, but when you said all that, I'm just thinking like that just took me back to Lakeside.
Like, so they do exist. There's not, again, for necessarily normal living situations. You got to be in a situation. Maybe I guess it would just cost too much money, because I'm sure rehabs and stuff are pretty expensive. And that's kind of what rehabs are in some way.
Yeah. And because I know that's probably what that costs, which I mean,
when you went, I mean, you don't have to answer this, so I can always cut anything, but when you went, was it like you knew you had to do so much time, or was it like you could leave whenever you wanted, or a family member had to say, like, how'd it go?
No, I didn't really know how much time, how long I was going to be there. Like, I literally thought I was going to make it back home by Halloween, and I didn't. So instead, I was sitting in the
when did
main
you get there?
room.
Like, just for reference of when Halloween, like how?
Okay, so the timeline is, it was the week after Joker came out. Joker came out on Friday, because then I'd watched it that Friday, and I watched it Saturday, and then I had the breakdown that following Saturday.
Was it related to that movie? Like, did it like?
No, it was related to actually several different things. My ex.
So that was October 4th was when the Joker came out.
October 4th, so 10/4, and then it was that next Saturday is when I had my mental breakdown. So then the following Wednesday is when I went in. So that would put me somewhere in the middle of October. So I was there for half that month and going on into the next month. So, no, it was a culmination of things. Of course, when my ex-girlfriend's son had died.
Right. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, that part. And there was things going on with my daughter as well. And of course, I was going through some past relationship issues.
Well, so I'm making the comedy version of your life, like if it's ever a movie, I want it to be you have a breakdown because of all these tragic things, but because it's on the weekend, the Joker came out. Everyone at the place keeps whispering. They're like, he saw the Joker. He had a fucking, like I think that is funny because it was everyone's like, it touches on the isolated people of whatever. I don't know. There's something about it.
What's even funnier about that is that when I went the first time, I had just reconnected with the ex that I'd been going through a lot of stuff with, named Harley, right? So then when I went into the hospital, I kept trying to call her and she wouldn't answer any of my calls.
And she was your therapist the whole time. Dun, dun, dun.
No, when I went and saw Joker 2, it was the same thing. He keeps trying to call Harley while he's in the hospital or, in the facility or whatever. He keeps trying to call Harley and she won't answer any of his calls. And I was like, oh my God, this is like the worst kind of deja vu.
Right.
When I was watching it in the theater, I was just like, holy fuck. Like, really? Like, this is too on the money for me.
Yeah, that is.
So, yeah.
It's crazy what happens. What happens to me lately, and this is a kind of attached, but not really, but I'll get a TikTok that'll be like some old man therapist explaining like what life having undiagnosed ADHD is like. And I'm like, oh my God, is this guy fucking viewing the world through my eyeball? You know what I mean? Like it'll hit so hard that you feel like, I don't know, like uncomfortable. Like, how the fuck do they know that? Like, there's this one Kafka poem that I'm not like familiar with Kafka or anything, but he has this book called Metamorphosis, and there's like some excerpt out of it. Every once in a while, you'll get a video of it's like AI reading it or whatever, but it connects to me so much, and maybe it connects to everyone. I don't know, but I'm like, this motherfucker lived my life. Like, that's the thought when you hear it read. You're like, oh my God, this is crazy.
What's crazy, you said Metamorphosis, and that's funny because I was just telling people, I'd been telling people since I think it was 2021 was when I'd learned about, it was either 2020 or 2021. I learned about the Roman poet Ovid, and he wrote something called the Metamorphosis. It's not Metamorphosis, but it's the way it's spelled a little different. Right. Yeah, but it's basically like when you read about Ovid, is that he was the poet that wrote everything, like wrote the beginning, the mid, and the future, and wrote all these things in like Greek, Roman times or whatever. And I told people about that at my work. I've been telling people about it. And then last week, out of nowhere, I saw the book. I'm like, oh, we have the Metamorphosis now. Like, it was so weird. But I thought that was a funny tie-in since we kind of started with COVID. And see Ovid. Yeah, it was kind of.
I also got to shout out the Howard Roark character in Fountainhead. Also related to him a great deal, but it's a long fucking book, and he's an architect.
Oh, they mentioned that in a Clear History. I don't know about the Fountainhead necessarily, but I know they did mention it in the Larry David movie, Clear History.
Yeah, what's interesting, I said this last thing, but tangents on tangents. When I was in high school, I had a really hard English teacher, and she made us read all these Ayn Rand books because there was like scholarships tied to it. And I love The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand. And I always said it was my favorite book until like I really started reading, and I was like, all right, I mean, I like it, but there's things that are probably, I like better. But I like it a lot. And anyway, nowadays everyone sees if you like her stuff, you have to be so conservative, right? She's like so tied to conservative ideology. But my English teacher is like so liberal, and they really promote it. You know what I mean? And it's just so funny how things change so quickly, where it's like, no, if you like her, you're evil or whatever. You're like, I don't know. I like the books. I thought they were good. So things change quickly. All right, we're in here on. We're gonna. I'll play a song here at the end of this. And it's going to be out tomorrow, so I'll probably wait for tomorrow so I can actually show the video of it and all that stuff. But I'll get it all in there for you. And I believe we're going with Energy Remix because that's what you had sent me. So anything you want to say about this one here to wrap us up?
Well, I'd sent you the message because I didn't know I was going to be on the show.
Right.
But so basically, the whole Energy song is in 2018. I was getting mentioned under these other white rappers by people who knew me, and yet they didn't support my music. Like they weren't supporting me, but it was like they knew other people that were rapping and they were supporting them, and they're like, "Oh, hey, holler at Anthony Brown. He's, he can get you in. He can get you doing this, And it was just like, it kind of felt like a slap in the face to me. You know what I mean? Like, if you kind of look at it from that angle, it's like, you don't even fucking support me. So
right. Well,
why are you sitting there trying to help me get your friend on?
Right. Something kind of similar to this, not exactly close. I remember like when I was in college, this girl sent me a video on Facebook of a white rapper freestyling something, right? And she's like, isn't this guy so good? I think you're way better, but man, look how great this is. I'm like, you've never shared my music with anyone, but you're sharing with me this other person's that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Like
about it.
It's a backhanded compliment to me. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh yeah, he can get you on, but I don't know any of his shit, but yeah, he can get you on. Like,
well, I get more annoyed, I think, these days with, and I know it's how it is. I'm not like caring, but it is what it is. Like people that'll be like, oh, I love new artists and supporting them. And it'll be like on Facebook and they're like sharing like Prof or like, someone else that has like 4 million monthly listeners. They're like, oh yeah, this new guy, I'm really for the underground. You're like, I mean, great. You can listen to whoever you like, but there's way smaller artists that you could support, that would actually appreciate that link share. Whereas in like this famous person, they don't give a fuck. I mean, they care, but not in the same way. I don't know.
Right. And I'm just like, and I mean, now, of course, I tag people all the time. I tag you and stuff. And, I tag Southern Comfort and Bradster, I tag all you guys and things. But now I'm like, but it's always kind of, there's a better reason behind it. Like in this case, it was just, you're just sharing my name to try and get somebody ahead. And it's like, the fuck? Like, and I have to explain it because I didn't put the explanation on the remix.
And if we have to give these people the benefit of the doubt, like some credit, maybe to them you're like the plug and they're just trying to impress the other people by showing they know you and whatever, but it doesn't always come across necessarily like that.
Well, I mean, and that's how it is, that's how it is around my town and stuff. People know me, like, oh, the white guy that raps, like, or they know me by H2. Like I see people in Walmart and they just call me H2. It's not, a lot of people don't know Anthony.
Every once in a while I'll get an A to the Mo, but it's pretty rare. Only a handful of people, are aware of me in my town, but my town's not.
I've done a whole lot in my area, so my name just stays that way. Which I mean, they've been calling me H2 since 2003, but like even just people, school, outside, whatever the case is.
Well, I think after you made Hidden Hand, and after that, I thought you should just name all your albums double H names, so like Harry Houdini and Hidden. I
do. I like the double H stuff, but Hidden Hand was it was actually a play off of a book that we had. I think I kept seeing it at work. It was called Hidden History. I was seeing it a lot in 2021. So, which was around the same time I did the Magnum Opus, which was basically the first song for Hidden Hand. It just the long game. Because, you know, we talk about these songs and stuff, and you've noticed now what I do is like I make these collections, you know, basically like how we did in the mixtape days, where you got several mixtape songs and then you might have several from your house producer in there. You know what I mean? So technically you're like my house producer because I actually talk to you.
Right.
You know, we actually communicate. So you end up on these collections. Well, now I'm doing these Rap Nerd reviews and I'm having to I'm going and I took down Levels and I took down Crime Tape because those had songs on them that are on the Mo Bones project. So I had them taken down so that I could release that project so we could have it as like a full body of work and not, you know, just, you know, a mixture of songs. So I just did that in respect. I did that in respect to you because I know that that's, you know, like that's how you would rather see it. And I understand that completely, you know, and it gels well.
Right. And also, I know I said we're playing this song. We're going to. I do got to get back to making the instrumental things. I'm sure right now for another H2 collection, a Sir Nasty collection. Yeah. Although those are fun to put up as well, the beats. But all right, Energy Remix while we're in on here. I appreciate you making it on. And
I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have you back and all that shit. If we keep going, we might all in tomorrow. Who knows? But all right, peace, bro.
All right, take it easy.
In a place it was cool to record pain. Always refrain from ever being the same. Never complain, just work harder to obtain a name. Stage your claim while you own this. Every opponent knows. Come on. Even though they act so oblivious, it's only cause they envious. And really it should tickle your pink that they think you have the answer, but you're not a private eye. Just a private guy that attacks the opposite sex like a panther. While they all panda, plan to have you slammed. You get sandwiched and everybody wanna eat when they see you in the bread. But if they knew you, they'd all puke. Couldn't even stomach all the thoughts running through your head. Bunch of beheaded bodies at a party that's been dead since it started. So I got my helmet on and I'm ready to get retarded. Cause you're lying through your garments if you say I ain't the largest. But to everybody else I'm a walking target for energy. You can't match me or pass me, even when I'm raspy, so don't ever tag me under another rapper, huh? Cause they all about to catch me, You can't match me or pass me, even when I'm raspy, so don't ever tag me under another rapper, huh? Cause none of them can catch me. Now it's time for clarity. All y'all sharing these white rappers with me like I'm really caring. Please, full transparency. No way you're comparing these. Every beat I connect with, live through vicariously while spitting carelessly. Pocket the paparazzi. There's no way to ever stop me. I'm carrying animosity, feed it every chance I get like a pet. So don't think I won't pull the battery at your time. I got you. Oops, I'm up another notch. He probably thought that he got me, but he got sloppy. Now I'm mopping the floor, but the top is knocking. I'm welcoming nonsense unless it's me knocking. So I'm not sure who's been talking to all you clone to, thinking you can clone to. I'm alone in my own zone. So as soon as you say you king of my home, you can bet that I'd have thrown you. And adversing me, it turns to adversity. So when I disperse these verses inadvertently, I own you. Waiting for the hearse to roll through. Let every shot leave you in shock. Open up the back and throw you, so you land where you're supposed to. Ride off like the battery did. Flat in your head, yeah, you're screwed. No matter how sharp you get, you never touch me with the lead. And if your little thread's only thing you'll ever be, running here scared. I'm the Peppo I rap, never sign, never care. Boom, with a mind like a pad of rooms. So finding the tunes, only way to get prepared for the energy. You can't match me or pass me, even when I'm raspy, so don't ever tag me under another rapper, huh? Cause they all about to catch me, You can't match me or pass me, even when I'm raspy, so don't ever tag me